In this video, I'm going to explain you how you can set up the Visual Studio with Unreal Engine 5.4.3, which is the Unreal latest version. So let's get started. This video will help you to set up your C++ project with Unreal Engine as well. So first, select your location, just simply create a project. But before that, you need to go to your Visual Studio installer to make sure that you have those components, because it's really very important. First, make sure do not update your Visual Studio too much, because Unreal Engine has a limit, and if you go out of that limit, you will be faced the problem. And also the summer file will be see that it's not loading, and even it's giving error or compiling, and it is stuff. So even it's come any type of update stuff, don't give any update, just keep it like this, which is 17.8.3, which is a good version for Unreal Engine 5.3 as well. So that's why if you're using 5.3 as well, so you can use this version, but I'm using with this version, I'm using Unreal Engine 5.4.3 as well. Okay, then go to the modify section, and at the modify section, make sure that you have the similar stuff that what I have. Okay, first make sure that you have the .desktop development. Second, you have, this is not requirement for the .NET framework multi UI framework. Okay, this is not recommended. I just create C++ stuff application as well, that's why I just add that. Then you need the desktop development with C++. This is required for creating the Windows EX file with the from Unreal Engine, because if you're creating PC games as well, then you need that universal Windows platform development. Okay, and lastly, if you want, you can add the mobile development C++, make sure, and then game development C++ as well. Okay, so in game development C++, you find that Unreal Engine. So currently it's not loading or showing in my here, because I already have those, that's why. So make sure you have the Unreal installer, Android IDE support for Unreal Engine, then Unreal Engine test adapter. Okay, and some of cases maybe in Windows SDK it can be a problematic. You can use the latest version of Windows 10 11 SDK, or rather than you can use the 10.8 0.18.36 and 62.0 version as well. And in the individual components .NET framework or any MSVC, you don't need to install any additional for the Unreal Engine 5.4 or 3, because it has been fixed from 5.2, so you don't need any additional component or anything else. Once you have this thing, just give a restart, and voila, you are ready. Now just simply click on create a project. So let's give it name that CPP. I'm just give it name CPP, and you can choose which one you want. Then create a simple project. Now we need to do some still modification or add it from our project settings, and I'll show you one more thing from the Visual Studio as well that you have to do, and how you can even open the future projects as well. Okay, so once everything will be loaded up, you will be see something like this, the Visual Studio. And also after that, open the Visual Studio. Please wait some time, like 1 to 2 minutes, because after that you will be see that your editor has been open as well. Because some of cases what you do, that once you think that Visual Studio open, you also try to find where is my Unreal Engine editor, why it's gone, it's not loading. So guys, just go to your task manager and just see that is it have any Unreal Engine editor or not. If it's have any Unreal Engine editor, so it's just loading, so you need to just wait, because the C++ project, it's some some more heavy than usual blueprint project, so it takes some more time to load up and everything. So once you find your Visual Studio, and then also you find the Unreal Engine editor as well. So now once you have the Visual Studio, now let me just tell you some basic stuff, other than we'll be do the advanced stuff in the next video, which is the right side you find all of your files, like the program files, your roles, your visual stuff, your project. And make sure there's two type of file, one is engine and one is your games. So the engine is basically Unreal Engine editor, and your games is basically your project file. So if you split that, you find your config, source, and everything. If you add any plugins, you will see that too. So now you can directly just double click and open, and you find every codes. Okay, this is C# code, so you can easily understand which is C++ or C# by checking their file extension or the name. So that is the thing at here. And for the compiling stuff or anything, so there's a two way to also compile the code. One is you can choose your CPP, press right mouse and click on build, and make sure, so in the development, make sure it's an development editor, and here press Win64, go to configuration manager. Most of cases you'll be see in Unreal Engine updated version, you don't see any Win64 system, you only see x64. So just keep it what is as and then click on build. Okay, you don't need to worry about anything, and make sure at here use Unreal Engine build tools, so which is allow you to access the build tools files as well, and it will be compiled more good. It will always tell you to integrate Unreal Visual Studio plugins. There's a plugin available. If you want, you can use that. It's just good for load up the codes and the color correction. Otherwise, if it's not recommend, kind of like it's not necessary to use. And once you do that, you can now build from here. Okay, make sure whenever you creating a project, after that you need to do 2 times build. One is once you think that your code has been done, just click on build. Okay, and after that build, it will be compiled, and make sure you always have the success and 0 fails. If it any fails or error, please fix that. Otherwise, it will be give you error in editor. Once you have and compile successfully at here, then you need to go to your Unreal Engine editor. And once you reach your Unreal Engine editor, at here you'll be see there kind of like a break stuff. So this is basically recompiler or reloader or just a compiler system for Unreal Engine. So you can press that and it's going to be compile the codes for you again. So it's make sure it's because it's that built you compile for Visual Studio, and this time you compile it for Unreal Engine files. So it's now basically has been loaded everything Unreal Engine now know, so you can use them. Okay, make sure you do always whenever you do some changes to your codes, otherwise it will be not load and it will be show you error in even compile as well. So that is the system for here. Also we can do some more modification in the project settings. Then go to the Windows. At here you by default you will be see that it's an DirectX 12. If you're not using Lumen or Nanite, so you can rather than use the default or DirectX 12. Otherwise you can use, and make sure the tool chain is for Visual Studio 2020. As you can see, the oldest version has been depacked, so just use the latest version. And I don't recommend to disable the live coding, because if you go to the source code system, you'll be see there's a editor source code. You can choose always Visual Studio 2020, that is okay. But there's also one more option available, which is called live coding. So the live coding is kind of like it's basically boot up your code in real time. So I don't think that you should disable it until you face problem. Like couple of times it's come with the plugin developers, like they face the problem like sometimes the compiler didn't work, so they need to do manually reboot system. There's another way to boot up the plugins, especially for example, let me show you. You can go to the tools, then go to the debugs, and you find here that modules. So and in the modules you can find all the plugins that your engine use or you have created. You find the list. So you can choose, for example, you created the ACL plugin, so now you can search ACL and you find all the plugins. Now sometimes, as I said, the live coder not work or this compiler didn't work for the plugin only, so at that time this is the another way to do. But before do that, you need to disable the live coding system. Okay, otherwise it will be give you error. So this is only for the tips and tricks for the plugin developer. Otherwise, rather than you can go usually with this one live coding, you don't need to do anything. So just give a restart and it will be boot up everything. Make sure sometime you might be need that projects it has been deleted or not deleted, kind of like it's not loading some data you want at that point, or even in second time how you load up. So look, in Epic it's very easy. You can go to Epic Launcher, just double click and open. Otherwise you can go to the basically your root folder of these project files, and then just double click and open this thing. Also you find here all your SLN file, and you can see that SLN file and source file and everything you will find in your file access as well. Okay, and now your project is ready. But one more thing, if you still need one more time reboot, for example, you are not compiling, you want the full visual should be reload because you did for example you add some new assets or you added new plugins. At that time there's a way. First, close the Visual Studio, and once you close the Visual Studio, you need to go to tools. Then here you find an option called refresh Visual Studio 2020 in the projects. So just press on that, it will be going to be reboot your Visual Studio projects. It's going to recompile or regenerate the files, which is basically help you to regenerate everything to get all by Visual Studio. Also, if you want to create any C++ project, because this is a blueprint as well, so you can, rather than use the blueprint, or you can use C++ as well. So now you can go to the tools and click on C++ class. You can choose your class, you can create a class, public or private. You can choose that where you want to choose in your project, or if you have created any plugins, whether we want to choose in your plugins or not. So this is all the stuff that with the C++ project. In next couple of videos I try to explain you more about the C++ stuff and ETCUs. So wait for that. Thank you so much and stay happy. Bye bye.